I think that President Trump structured this press conference to achieve a grand strategy for his reelection campaign in 2020. And it also happened to be absolutely freaking hilarious. So President Trump gives the usual introduction, then he answers some questions. And rather, before he gets to the questions, he tees up a video. He's got the media all in the room. He says, I want to tee up this little video just to give you an overview of the past few weeks. And he tees up the video. The video is of the media getting the coronavirus totally wrong.
In February, Nancy Pelosi said we should come to Chinatown. This is late February. Come to Chinatown. We think it's very safe. Come here. Let's all have the big parade, Chinatown parade, probably referring to San Francisco. And that's it. But I took this action early. And so the story in the New York Times was a total fake. It's a fake newspaper, and they write fake stories. And someday, hopefully in 5 years when I'm not here, those papers are all going out of business because nobody's going to want to read them. But now they like them because they write about me. Now, with that, I have a couple of interesting, we have a few clips that we're just going to put up. We could turn the lights a little bit lower. I think you'll find them interesting.
Okay, that's the setting the stage, right? He's saying, I think you're going to like this. You're going to enjoy it. So you already know, given the way he's introducing this video, that this is going to be pretty savage, right? He's making fun of Nancy Pelosi for telling people in the early days of the pandemic to come to Chinatown. He's going straight after the New York Times. Trump has changed his tone day by day in the press briefing. Some days, very staid, very presidential, very bipartisan, saying nice thing about Democrats, saying nice things even about the media. That wasn't yesterday. Yesterday was a major tonal shift. He comes out, he goes, the New York Times is a fake piece of trash newspaper. Nancy Pelosi's completely wrong. She's a joke. She imperiled lives. And hey, check out my video. So he tees it up. Here's the video itself.
People should be more concerned right now with the flu in this country.
A lot of people are concerned about the coronavirus because they're hearing a lot of news about it right now. But the reality is, comparing it to the flu, for example, it's not even close to being at that stage.
It goes on and on the media, but I think you get the gist. Look at how he's flipping this, because what the media are accusing Trump of doing is not taking the coronavirus seriously, of comparing it to the flu, for instance, which, by the way, might be a fair comparison. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show. But regardless of whether or not it is a fair comparison, that's not what Trump cares about here. What Trump cares about here is showing that the media were very recently doing the exact same thing that they are accusing him of doing. This is what he manages to do all the time. He did this all throughout 2016. It's not even that he would defend himself against the attacks from his opponents in the Republican primary or in the media. He didn't have to do that. All he would have to do is show that his opponents and his critics are no better than he is. So you remember this very clearly with Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush accuses Donald Trump of being immature in 2016, of being childish, of not being composed, of not being an adult. And then Donald Trump on the debate stage he triggers Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush starts getting all angry and he gets really fired up. And he goes, how was that, Donald? Was that high energy enough? And Donald goes, yeah, that was high energy. And he puts his hand out for a low 5. And then Jeb, like the kid on the playground who finally got the attention of the bully, and, the bully didn't give him a swirly, Jeb got so excited that he kind of jumps up a little bit and smacks Trump's hand, totally destroys Jeb Bush's argument that Jeb is the mature person, Jeb is going to behave like the adult in the room, because he was behaving in just as giddy and childish a way as Donald Trump. That's what he's doing here to the media. He's done this again and again. I mean, do you remember when Hillary Clinton was saying that if you contest the results of the 2016 election, you're a threat to democracy? What does Trump get her to do? Contest the results of the 2016 election. So that's what's happening here. The press are just watching themselves. He says, look at this video, and it's just a mirror, basically, up in the front of the room to show the press who they are. Then the video moves on to its second stage, which is no longer going after the press with their own words. It's showing how Trump took the virus seriously.
Well, we've asked them to accelerate whatever they're doing in terms of a vaccine.
we will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days. To unleash the full power of the federal government in this effort today, I am officially declaring a national emergency.
So you see here what Trump is doing. He's saying, you're accusing me of not taking it seriously. Look at all the clips of me taking it seriously. Now, to be fair, were there also clips of President Trump saying that the media were being alarmist early on? Yes. Again, that doesn't matter. The media has this very narrow narrative that they have been constructing, which totally ignores their own behavior, their own hypocrisy. So President Trump is constructing a parallel narrative. So he hits the media, he then hits how great a job he's doing, and then he goes on to the governors praising Trump. And the brilliance of this three-part video strategy is not even in the video. We've all seen these clips before. It's that he knew exactly how it would trigger the media, and it turned out he was right. He tees it up, shows the media their own words, then he shows the media his own words. And the third part, the pièce de résistance, is he shows the media the Democratic governors who are praising him. So the New York Times can't say anything nice about him. CNN can't say anything nice about him. The supposedly objective journalists, but Trump's own political adversaries are going to be more fair to him than the allegedly objective press. Here's the third part.
His team is on it. They've been responsive late at night, early in the morning, and they've thus far been doing everything that they can do. And I want to say thank you, and I want to say that I appreciate it.
He returns calls. He reaches out. He's been proactive. We got that Mercy ship down here in Los Angeles. That was directly because he sent it down here.
Okay, this, I think, is unprecedented in the history of press briefings. First of all, the fact that President Trump holds his own press briefings every single day is also unprecedented. I mean, the guy is obviously playing to his strengths because he's so good on camera. He's so good at communicating. But to be this brazen, to be this bold, there's obviously something going on underneath this strategy. It's not merely a troll, and we'll get to what that is in a second. But President Trump gives you this ice cream sundae, right? This three-part ice cream sundae. Just in case that wasn't going to send the media into a tizzy, he gives them a little cherry on top of the sundae. And that little cherry on top is that he quotes one of their own reporters, not just any reporter, perhaps one of the most partisan reporters, Maggie Haberman. Hillary Clinton said that Maggie Haberman's her favorite reporter because she would always cover Hillary in a positive light. Trump adds this little bit of Maggie Haberman having to admit that Trump is doing a good job. So now you've got an actual member of the press, a far left one, contradicting the press coverage that we've been seeing for the past 2 weeks on President Trump. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
As there were more cases, and it was clear that it was spreading out of China, where it originated, the president took this move that he was widely criticized for by Democrats and even some Republicans at the time, which was he halted a number of flights from China into the U.S. The idea was to halt the spread of the disease, keep transmissions to a minimum. He was accused of xenophobia. He was accused of making a racist move. At the end of the day, it was probably effective.
It was probably effective. Maggie Haberman at the New York Times, they could not believe it. It was so brazen. It was so brutal. They tried their best to flip it on him, but they were so defeated, they were so taken aback by this, that they couldn't do it. The best move to try to flip this on Trump came from John Karl over at ABC, who Trump has been humiliating in these press conferences. And John Karl took the one angle he could see, which is he said that it looked like a campaign ad. And he wanted to find out who made the ad, because maybe Trump was using White House resources inappropriately for campaign activities, because that was a campaign ad that he just forced all of the mainstream media to play for him for free on their networks. And Trump, like he was waiting for it. He was waiting for that little toss-up, knocks it out of the park, and he says, wait a second. You think that me playing your own ridiculous words is a campaign ad. What does that say about you?
I've never seen a video like that played in this room. It looks a bit like a campaign ad. Who produced that video for you?
That was done by a group in the office, and it was done we just put some clips together. I could give you, I'll bet you I have over 100 more clips, even better than them. They were just pieced together over the last 2 hours. That was just, we have far better than that. That's nothing compared to Samba.
This was produced here in the White House.
Yeah, this was done by Dan and a group of people, and they just put it together in a period of probably less than 2 hours.
Why did you feel need to do that?
Because we're getting fake news, and I like to have it corrected.
How did John Karl not notice the flaw in his own question? He goes, why did you feel the need to do that? To do what, John? What did he do? He just played your own words back to you. Why did you feel the need to show our reporting? As if he is now admitting their reporting is so bad, so unfair, so humiliating for them that merely playing it back on a television is an attack on the media. Quoting the media is now an attack on the media. And I agree, it is, because the media have humiliated themselves. And that was the trap that Trump set, and it totally worked. If you enjoyed that video, and let's be honest, of course you did. I hope you did. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so everyone wading through the wasteland of YouTube knows that we have the best content out there.